Hello and welcome everybody to this matinee presentation of UGA Ice Dawgs Hockey. I'm Torrance Smith with Ren Grimsley, and we're so excited to be bringing you this one live from the Macon Coliseum in Macon, Georgia, where the Ice Dawgs are hosting the Delaware Blue Hens in the second of a two-game series this weekend. Ren, the Ice Dawgs came out a little flat on Friday night despite the win. What are you looking for? What are you looking for out of them to kind of improve on that performance on Friday?
Yeah, like you said, coming out really slow in that first period. Just spoke to head coach John Camp. Said that was by far their worst period of hockey so far this season. I almost think that might happen again maybe after coming off of a game really late last night and now an afternoon game here. Wouldn't be surprised if another slow start, but luckily, like yesterday, the Dogs were able to rally in the second and third and come out with a win.
A big part of that win on Friday night was goalie Ryan Testino. In net tonight is actually going to be Isaac Hagen, the other big man in goal for Georgia. What are you looking for out of him today?
Yeah, it's so great to have two goalies that are so consistent and so reliable. Both big guys, play very similar. I think Isaac, he does a great job in there. Three goals allowed on the season, 3 goals a game allowed on the season, but still 3 I know this season, and still undefeated as an Ice Dog, so just keep doing what he's doing.
Looking to keep the undefeated streak alive for Isaac Hagen. On the offensive side of the puck, the story on Friday night was James Hedquist getting his first goal of the season in his first game. What do you expect from him today?
Yeah, he's a great offensive weapon, only able to come out coming off of an injury, only able to play yesterday for the first time. He averaged a point a game last season, huge part of the offense. Now he's back already producing after getting his first goal yesterday. Such a dynamic playmaker, and the team rallies around him offensively.
Always important to get those big weapons back and just have more opportunities to score on the ice. Our very own Will Hopkins caught up with Hedquist before the game during pregame warmups.
Here with forward James Hedquist. And James, big 5-2 win yesterday, but that game was pretty late at night, a pretty early game here today. What have you and the team done to get your bodies right for game 2?
When we got back to the hotel, just quick, got some food, went to bed, rested up, got some good breakfast this morning, fueled up, and yeah, we've just been mentally prepared, ready to go for this game.
And then for you, a goal yesterday. How do you continue that hot play into tonight?
Really just trying to play with a lot of energy and working hard. Just looking forward to the game, see what happens.
Awesome, appreciate it.
So that'll just about do it for our pregame show. Ren, as we're about to get started here, what do you think is your score prediction for today?
I'm going to say 5-3. So far, Isaac has given up 3 goals a game this season, so that's where I think the 3's coming in. And just a great offense from the Ice Dogs. I got 5 goals. A bit of a barn burner, but I'm excited.
I think it's a pretty fair bet. We're excited to get going in front of this Macon crowd. Don't go anywhere, folks. Will and Joe will be right back with the first period.
And with the playing of the anthem, we're just about ready for hockey at the Pyramid here at Macon Coliseum. Will Hopkins alongside Joe Kopsho as the Ice Dawgs take on the Delaware Blue Hens. It was a 5-2 win for the Ice Dawgs late last night, and now Joe looking for 2 wins and a sweep on the weekend.
Yeah, this team trying to keep its undefeated streak alive. They haven't lost a game this season, just a couple of overtime games. Of course, they want to keep improving that score, eventually get to double digits as they sit at 8 right now. Delaware trying to avoid this losing streak. They've lost 3 in a row now. They'd like to break that. 3, I think, is a streak, Will, and they certainly don't want to see it increase. So it's an important game for both teams as these teams approach the middle of the season, try and build momentum for a late playoff push. And of course, we know both teams are able to do it. We saw them in Nationals last year. So this game of the utmost importance to both squads. We'll see who comes out on top.
100%, and we saw last night a much improved Delaware team from the team that lost to Georgia 9-0 in that postseason game last year, and an improvement in goal, you could say, tonight as well, with Andrew Gotti in net, a much better goals against average than Shorenstein from last night. Third line out there for the Dogs, second line out there for the Blue Hens, and the Dogs win the opening faceoff, attacking the net to our right. The Blue Hens quickly regain possession. It's Zachary Solomon who rings it around the back of Hagen's net. Isaac Hagen trying to keep that undefeated record as a goaltender alive for these Ice Dawgs. Battle in the far corner with Strauss working deep over there, trying to get the puck back for the Dogs, but instead it's Solomon for the Blue Hens. Works it to the circle, and a good defensive play by Strauss. That puck put on traffic in net, fight around there, and once again Strauss to the rescue to get it out of harm's way, but good sustained zone pressure for the Blue Hens to start this one.
2 dangerous passes into the high crease. Good opportunity for the Blue Hens.
Defenseman Johns to Anatra. Anatra trying to work it towards the net. Blockered aside on the ice from Hagen, but still the Blue Hens puck, and now finally Leighton Poole retains it, and the Dogs will look to try to slow things down and get a grip on this game. First minute dominated by Delaware.
Yeah, and they'll already need a switch, so we'll see the first line come off if they can dump it in.
Trying to get it in. Punzenberger can only get it so far, and it's back to the Blue Hens. They'll be happy with their start. Coach Camp not happy with the Dogs' start yesterday. Although we're just a minute and 15 seconds in, don't think he'll be thrilled so far, but we'll see if Luke Burnett can get something going for the Dogs. As James Hedquist gets it out front to Parente as he tries to work in. Hedquist, a scorer yesterday. Parente with 2 assists in that 5-2 win. But now coming the other way with it, Kyle Kosh for Delaware. O'Shaughnessy and DePrisco, his line mates, that top line for Delaware, but they can't get anything going. And now here comes Hedquist, trying to deke around a defenseman, puts a puck out in a dangerous area. Now the Dogs might be in trouble as Burnett came crashing in on that one. O'Shaughnessy puts a shot on, blockered aside. Good save by Hagen, his first real test of the game. And he answers the call as Parente looks to work things back out through Hedquist, but instead runs into a blockade.
Interesting back and forth here. We saw the Blue Hens establish offensive zone time, and now it seems like the Dogs' forecheck is getting more of what they want. Need to establish dominance in middle ice instead of fighting in their own zone.
Glove save by Hagen, not clean though, as we saw DePrisco and O'Shaughnessy combining on that right side, the 2 points leaders for this Blue Hen squad. Working it in all alone, Ryan Bailey trying to just buy his team some time as they go for a change. And now the points leader from last season, Mazzaros, in on the forecheck. Bailey with it, out top to Hagen. Hagen over to Martin. Martin with it again now. Out on that far side to Evan Moore. Top line out there for the Dogs. Trying to get their foothold on this game as Truman Hagen pushes up, but that puck does exit the zone. Truman Hagen, the defenseman, big number 27. His brother Isaac, the netminder for the Ice Dawgs here today, and that will go all the way down for an icing.
Yeah, it's always good to see the brothers in action, of course, and they'll work well together. One a goalie, one a defenseman, so often communicating and hopefully positively, as brothers can sometimes do, often don't. But so far, a good start from the Ice Dawgs, a good rebound, I should say. That first minute and a half, not excellent, but since then they've really established their forecheck and had some good offensive zone time. So we'll see if the dam starts to burst.
First line has to stay out there with the icing. The defensemen to go with them, Hagen and Martin, as there's a pad save made by Hagen, has had his name called a couple of times. Some shots on net early for Delaware. Hagen skates it out himself, gains the red line, and unfortunately that pass hits Evan Moore, preventing it from going in the zone. Now the Dogs do gain the zone, looking for that cross-ice pass to Bailey. It's broken up, though, and now the Blue Hens might have some numbers going the other way. Did go for a partial change as Burchard on it now. Puck rings all the way back around to Gavin Johns, the defenseman, and he takes a shot into the Dogs bench as the door was open. A whistle here as the door was open, the Dogs going for a change, and Gavin Johns got put on the Georgia bench.
I'm not sure the door was open. I think it was forced open by the power of that hit. What a hit, as the backup goalie, not Testino today, was just sitting there ready to do his job, and instead he had a Blue Hen fall right in his lap.
That's Andrew Goldstein, new to the team this year.
Interesting to see how the physicality will play out early. That was a big hit, and unfortunately for the Dogs, it will result in a defensive zone draw.
Still probably good to send the message. You know that Coach Camp loves to see the physicality. Fourth line out there now for the Dogs. Jake Green loses out on the faceoff. Speedy Brandon Ing trying to chase down these Blue Hens, and he does a good job of that, just wreaking havoc on that far side. Blue Hens do keep the puck, though. Anatra, and now up top for a chance at the point, but a good defensive play by Whitwer in these Dogs to clear the zone. Whitwer on the forecheck. Instead, it's rung all the way around. It's Anatra they're trying to get the puck to, and now Zachary Solomon, number 18 for the Blue Hens. Brandon Ing comes out with it, though, but looks like he left a little something behind. Whitwer tried to bat it down with a high stick, failed in doing so, but it comes all the way down to Alexander Strauss, who will take his time behind his own net so that the Dogs can regroup. Puck deflected off the boards into the Blue Hen zone. McAvoy in there all alone as the Dogs go for a change. Eberle, the new center, onto the ice. He makes his presence felt with a bit of a bump and another kick save from Hagen. I think he'll be fine dealing with shots like that all day.
Yeah, just throwing it on net, seeing if they can get anything, but Dogs will go the other way with it.
And Punzenberger does the same, throws one on net, maybe looking for a rebound, none to be had as Gotti makes the save, and we get a whistle just about 5 minutes into this one.
A little extracurricular activity there between Eberle and the Blue Hen. Looks like number 7, Kyle Kosh, getting into it. Kosh, a starter from yesterday on that top line.
Kosh to Prisco and O'Shaughnessy. That top line for Delaware contributes a lot of their points output, especially to Prisco and O'Shaughnessy. Delaware sprinting into that Georgia zone. Lost an edge, though, did Kosh, giving the Dogs a chance to recover as Eberle finds a teammate in McAvoy. McAvoy over to Punzenberger. Punzenberger gains the zone, but held up by the Blue Hens defense as they fire it all the way down and on net, which will negate the icing. Burnett finds Gannon, who finds McAvoy, and now Eberle with a cross-ice pass to Punzenberger. Punzenberger through the legs of the defenseman, but couldn't get back to that puck. And now O'Shaughnessy coming the other way, was looking for Kosh, well read by Burnett, though. Eberle will chip in and go for a change, not before taking a bit of a bump from O'Shaughnessy. Eberle with a physical shift, taking and receiving, and now Conway looking for that far side shot, missed the net. Conway freshly on the ice, and Hagen will play it behind the net. Trapezoid not in effect here in college hockey, so he can play that puck in the corners. And now a chance for the Dogs to regroup as Parente comes on the ice. Conway with it. Deeks past a defender, and now out in front, and a great chance that time for James Hedquist. Missed the net, but a great A scoring chance for the Ice Dawgs.
Yeah, and Hedquist is going to want that one back wide open in front of the net. Had a lot of space, just missed.
Hedquist still out there, battling to get things going, and puts one out in front, was looking for Conway, but the puck springs out to Parente. He has his shot blocked. Hedquist again out in front, and a good poke check by the goaltender Gotti. A good shift, though, from the Ice Dawgs. Parente and Hedquist wreaking havoc, but now the Blue Hens come right back with it. Truman Hagen in defense, and puck spills out to Bill Martin. Once again, Conway out in front, goes to the backhand. That rings around for Parente, and he has his pocket picked by 22, Nick Viola. Dogs can win it back pretty quickly, though, and now another chance for Parente. Instead, he lays it off. Conway tried to go between his legs, just didn't quite have his bearings.
Maybe trying to be a bit too cute. That would have been the highlight goal of the year, though.
A reverse hit on Hedquist. He was going for the hit, ended up being the one to hit the ice, but last couple of minutes from the Dogs, definitely some much better hockey. Blue Hens working it back the other way with Burchard. He's bumped into by Martin, hits the boards, and now a loose puck, and Mazzaros is turning on the Jets on the far side if Parente can get to him. Instead, he dekes past his defenseman, and Parente's got to be pretty gassed. He's been out there a long while, and now he heads towards the bench. Mazzaros on the forecheck does a good job of preventing that puck from leaving the zone. Dogs with some sustained pressure here. Evan Moore in a battle on these near boards. Big hit by Alexander Strauss, preventing a clean exit, but still the Blue Hens clear the zone. About 8.5 minutes gone in the first period, scoreless. Dogs winning 5-2 yesterday, looking for a weekend sweep as Ryan Bailey comes down the ice with the pass across ice to Mazzaros. He was looking for Evan Moore, couldn't quite connect. Another look at Evan Moore out in front just beyond his stick, but we're really starting to see these forward lines combine well, and they're trying to get some easy chances out in front and make that one extra pass.
Yeah, the back door was wide open there, and then, of course, right in the high crease, there was another good opportunity. If these Dogs can connect on passes, get their twigs on the puck, we could see this game turn around quite quickly.
Evan Moore with it, looked behind him, but there was nobody there. Off the skate now of Strauss, and back into the Blue Hen zone. And it seems like the strategy for the Dogs is not as many number of chances as it is finding a high-quality chance, and now a chance for just that as a nifty move from Bailey loses the puck, though. We're seeing the Dogs try and make some highlights early on.
Again, just trying to be too cute. Throw it out in front of the net. You have a one-on-one. You know you can just step around your man when you've got the skill of Bailey.
Leighton Poole steps in. The defenseman takes a shot, fires just wide. And back to it is Strauss to send it back in and buy his defense partner some time to get back into position. Dogs go for some changes. Whitwer trying to close down the puck, but it's taken a bunch of Dogs to do so as the Blue Hens file into the zone. That was Cam Raffstinger, who's trying to get something going for the Blue Hens, but the Dogs have really taken control of this game over the last few minutes.
It's been absolute possession dominance from the Dogs in about the last 5 minutes or so.
And the lack of whistles has brought a real rhythm to this game as well.
Yeah, no calls. We've seen some physicality pick up, but nothing has transpired as of yet. We'll see how that plays out, or if we get clean hockey.
DePrisco sends it in deep for O'Shaughnessy. DePrisco first on the team in points with 18, O'Shaughnessy with 14 in second. Delaware has played 12 games in the statistical database. For the Ice Dawgs, just 8, with neither of those Texas wins, with them being an ACHA team. Shot from the point, maybe looking for that deflection. Hagen was ready for it, and we talked to Testino before the game, and he said that was their strategy, it seemed, to get those tips out in front. That's how they scored both of their goals yesterday. So showing a lot of respect for Testino. We'll see if they have the same strategy throughout this one against Hagen. As Eberle played it back to Burnett. Burnett's pass intercepted, but Gannon back on it. One out in front, looking for the tip from Jake Green, and a good save point blank made by Andrew Gotti, and now some pushing and shoving out in front.
Yeah, the Blue Hens taking offense to Jake Green trying to get his stick in there, although I do think he made contact with the puck.
I agree, 100%.
So,
and it wasn't in the crease either. I think it was just outside.
A little bit of unfounded hatred there as Green was trying to put it in the back of the net. Good job by the Blue Hens goaltender to stay strong there. Something we really didn't see too much last night, as he was getting beat quite often. You can see the change to the number 1 has made a difference.
And another save by Gotti, a glove save on that shot from the blue line by Truman Hagen. And yeah, it was Schornstein last night, gave up 5 goals, and now Gotti tonight coming into this one, 16 goals allowed in 7 games, 6 of those starts, a 2.46 goals against average compared to a 5.11 goals against average from Schornstein after last night's game, as Delaware wins the defensive zone draw.
And it was interesting because Schornstein donned the 3rd goalie's number in Nate DeRoche, who was also better statistically. So interesting to see how they went down to the 3rd statistical goalie in terms of save percentage.
Dogs maybe getting away with a little bit of a cross check there from McAvoy. Looked like it's some lumber into the back. of the Blue Hen, but the Dogs will take it and keep the puck. Shot out in front, stick save made by Gotti. Looking for the rebound, McAvoy can't quite get good wood on it, but some more zone pressure from the Dogs. Eberle out in front, lays another check. He's had his body all over the place, and now the speedy Ing. Boy, is he fun to watch skate. Ing getting more and more playing time. Just a guy that's hard to keep off the ice. You can see the impact every time he's out there as the puck goes in the Blue Hens bench.
Yeah, and he really fits well in the line that he's started to establish with Robbie Whitwer and Jake Green. That was a line that we saw Dylan Spicer in previous years, and I think he's done an excellent job to take over after the senior graduated and offer a little bit of speed, and really is a penalty-killing threat with that ability to make up. And while he doesn't stand the tallest or the widest, he makes up for it with that speed and physicality.
A goal and 3 assists for Ing so far this year, his first year with the Ice Dogs. As Conway, a chance out in front, good save by Gotti. He's had to be on his best behavior over the last few minutes. Chance after chance from the Dogs, and most of them coming from short range, that time off the stick of number 29, Declan Conway. James Hedquist keeping things alive, and now Conway with it behind the net. Pass out in front. It seems like Parente wasn't quite ready for it. Puck finds its way back to Conway. I think that hit the outside of the post. Not sure if Gotti would have had it covered had it crept inside, but some real good play from the Dogs. We'll see if they'll be rewarded with a goal as Conway shoots. Another save made by Gotti.
Mentioned the dam starting to burst earlier. It really feels like that, just water building up behind the dam, and it feels like the Dogs just keep piling on, and it eventually feels like they'll break through and score a goal if they can keep this up. Lots of good opportunities, just haven't been able to get the puck in the twine. We'll see if it works out as they continue to develop this pressure.
And this Hedquist, Conway, Parente line has had a few really nice shifts so far early on.
Yeah, those top two lines, of course, centered by Mazzaros and Conway, have been excellent.
Poole sends it in deep, rings it around, and Gotti can't quite get a stick on it. Parente trying to keep things alive, and the Blue Hens are content to just ice the puck. So their skaters will have to stay out there, and it looks like the Dogs are choosing to keep the same 5 as well.
Yeah, both teams just got a switch, so fresh legs, but for the Blue Hens, this gives them a chance to at least win possession in the face-off circle. They haven't been too successful too far, but of course playing it straight up, they've had no success. So this at least allows them to try and get a chance to clear.
Raffstanger on the face-off for the Blue Hens. A battle on these near boards with Hedquist. Hedquist fighting, but Raffstanger comes away with it. Great defensive play by Alex Strauss to prevent a breakaway chance, and once again the puck finds the Blue Hens bench.
This one will be out of the Blue Hens defensive zone this time, so now they get a chance at neutral ice to win a face-off. And for the Dogs, we'll see if Conway tries to win it quickly and win it into the zone and establish some pressure in early.
Fourth line center Brichard out there for the Blue Hens. The Dogs win the face-off though, and Strauss content to just ring it around. Parente been out there a solid while along with his line mates. See if they can get rewarded for a great shift. Hedquist cross ice to Strauss. Strauss dances with it, fires, blockered aside by Gotti. Dogs really starting to pile on chances, but no score to show for it quite yet. See if they can get one. The final 6 minutes of this first period approaching. No penalties so far for either side. Some solid chances for both teams though. Dogs controlling things as of late as Parente looks to get rid of it, finds Conway. Conway bearing down on net. And that shot made the defender lose his stick, but puck goes wide of the net. And now a 1-on-0. Dogs are in trouble here. A deke move and a great save made by Hagen. That was number 13, Jack DiLiberto. 1-on-0 against Hagen, and Hagen comes up big.
Excellent job. He sat back on that one. I thought he was going to come way out of his crease and try and play it with a poke check. Instead, stayed home, trusted his ability, made the Blue Hen make the first move, and did an excellent job to cover up.
For DiLiberto, that puck kind of got away from him a second. Definitely a chance for Hagen to poke check, like you said, but opted against it. The Dogs scoring one of their goals yesterday with Schornstein coming way out of the net to poke check and coming up empty as that puck is fired into the netting for a whistle.
Yeah, really impressive play there by Hagen. You really have to trust yourself and stay home to do that. And, of course, we talked about his ability at the start of the game. He's showing it there. And I think it's even more impressive because he was quite cold. He hasn't had a shot on him really in 5 minutes, anything too challenging. Then he gets blasted right away with a 1-on-0 where he has to stand on his head, and he does so.
He was busy the first few minutes, but like you said, not as much of late. Dogs looking to regain control in their zone, ringing around. Gannon trying to get to it. He's beaten out by a Blue Hen, though, in Kosh. A top line out there for Delaware. Kosh, DePrisco, O'Shaughnessy. DePrisco with it now, looking for O'Shaughnessy, and his pass is blocked away by Graham Baird. Content to just bring that puck back out to center ice, but here come the Blue Hens once again. Michael DePrisco with it, wrapping around the net. Still with it is DePrisco. And now a great chance for the Dogs going the other way. Ryan Bailey 1-on-0. He fires and he's off the post. Had the goaltender and Gotti beat, but just couldn't get it inside the pipe. Some big chances for both sides over the last couple of minutes, and I don't know what it is with this puck, but it just finds its way to the Blue Hens bench at every opportunity.
I think Ryan Bailey is asking the same thing about the puck. At the last second, he just lost it in his skates. Didn't really make it all the way towards his body, so he is still able to fire off a good shot, but I think that made the difference of that puck finding the back of the net and finding the outside of the post. I'm sure he'll want that one back as the puck just skittered a bit too far.
He wins the faceoff, has the puck here out in front, kind of ran out of space. Now the Blue Hens coming with it the other way with Nick Viola. Dogs win it back. Big hit, though. Turnover in the defensive zone. Juicy rebound after the save from Hagen as he's run into by a Blue Hen, asking the referee what's up with that, but instead the Dogs will just have to be content with going back the other way. Mazzaros loses it, but the Dogs keep it in the zone with Hagen. Hagen to Bailey, Bailey to Mazzaros. Mazzaros and Bailey trying to keep the play alive for the Dogs in this near corner, but they lose out to number 25, Alan Singer. The Hens will dump in and go for a change as 4 minutes to go now in this opening period. No score from either side. Nate Haley out there for the Dogs, the extra forward in the lineup today. And Haley on it now just bounces it off the boards to himself, and now Truman Hagen with it goes cross ice to his partner, Bill Martin. Martin to Moore. Moore trying to get something going for the Dogs as some mixed match lines with Whitwer out there as well. A race down to the other end, won by the Hens. Battle over there with Martin and Solomon, and the Dogs win the fight. See if they can get something going, but that pass just outside the reach of Whitwer. Circling back the other way, Raffstanger. He gets bumped off of it, and now a good chance for the Dogs with the Hens changing. Hagen lays it back to Whitwer. Whitwer back to Hagen, and maybe just barely getting a piece of that Colin Healy, and that could have made all the difference.
Yeah, good opportunity again for the Dogs that they are just an inch or two away from converting.
Good step by Strauss here. Puts it out in front, looking for the tip from Whitwer. That goes over the bar. Now Whitwer gives it away to Anatra. Teammate was going for a change, so that pass didn't quite work out. And now the defenseman Poole with the puck. A pass out in front to Jake Green, and ended up not getting great wood on it and gloved by Gotti.
Yeah, another good opportunity right out in front, and it just feels like the Dogs are inches away from breaking this one open, and yet it's still 0-0. We've played almost 18 minutes. The Dogs have had at least the 5 best chances after, of course, the one Delaware had on the 1-on-none.
Slap shot, doesn't get a ton on it, but draws another face-off in the Blue Hens zone. That was Strauss who ripped it, but looking at the clock, 2:35 left in this first period, you feel like if you're the Dogs, you really want to get one because you know Delaware's just looking to get into that dressing room and get out of here 0-0 after the first period.
Changes the whole complexity of the game if you can have a lead after the end of the first.
Punzenberger to Strauss. Strauss, another shot into the glove of Gotti. Strauss, a couple shots, some from the point. He's also ventured his way between the circles, but he's been busy in the offensive zone. No points so far this year, trying to change that.
And interesting to see, we don't have a shot counter here, but I have to assume Gotti's getting up to 20 saves already here in the first. Pucks on net constantly at him, just none finding their way through. He's had a great performance.
Yeah, the first few minutes of the period, it seemed like the Dogs were just waiting for a grade A chance. Now they're just firing pucks on net. Blue Hens gain the red line and send it in deep to chase after it. Henry Long, the winger, battling back there with Strauss. Long comes out on top, tries to beat Hagen short side. Luckily, Hagen kept that skate on the post. Still in the Dog zone, though, as that one fired up high past Punzenberger. Gets a bit of a stick on that, and now Long rings it around back. Dogs penned in a little bit here, as that's Burchard with it. Now up top to Quinn Scribner, the defenseman. Off the back of the cage and rung around past Punzenberger. And the hand goes up and now waved off, no icing. So the Dogs catch a bit of a break as that puck slowed down at the last moment. Burchard sends it in deep and goes for a change. That top line coming back out. And Hagen left that puck for nobody. Had to get back into his net quickly as Scribner, the defenseman, was trying to catch him off guard, but not the cleanest play there from the Dogs in their own zone.
Got to have better communication there. Let your goalie know who's coming. If it's an unfriendly face, he's got to send that around the boards.
1 minute left in this opening period. Hedquist with the puck out front, looking for a teammate, and now to Gannon all the way at the point, or excuse me, Burnett. Loose puck right out in front of Gotti, and another whistle.
And that was a grade A opportunity as that puck was just bouncing around. You think if anyone can get a stick on it, it's somehow going to find its way through, as Gotti was sprawled out just a little bit, had no idea where the puck was. Instead, it goes out of play yet again.
And you get the feeling that if the Dogs can get one, it might really break the doors open. And it's that first one in a game like this where you're really dominating play, where it can often be the most difficult.
And you don't want to head into this first intermission tied 0-0 after you feel like you've outplayed the opponent thoroughly for essentially the entirety of the period.
Conway loses out on the faceoff as DePrisco back the other way, skated out of harm's way by Burnett, but now a loose puck and Kosh with it. Save made by Hagen. Not the hardest shot from Kosh. 30 seconds to go now. Cross ice to Hedquist. See if he can get anything going with Conway. Now Conway does get the puck. Backhands one, sticked aside by Gotti. And now he covers it up with 18.1 left in the opening frame.
And we'll see what the play is off the face-off. The Dogs last year loved to do a step-through. Had their center win the draw and just step through his defender and try and get a quick shot on goal. That was Conway's special. We'll see if he goes with it here, as he'll be the one to glide into the dot.
Conway versus DePrisco. Second line for the Dogs, first line for the Hens. DePrisco wins the draw. Banked off the glass, and now it could have been a potential 3-on-2 for the Blue Hens, but some loose play, and Burnett took advantage. Conway fires one on net from outside the blue line as there are just 3 seconds to go now. Blue Hens skating with it the other way, and the horn will sound. A first period dominated in the shots on goal department by the Dogs, but still scoreless where it matters most. We'll take a break, have our
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the UGA Hockey YouTube channel, where we are bringing you live the UGA Ice Dawgs taking on the Delaware Blue Hens. I'm Torrance Smith with Ren Grimsley. Kind of an uneventful first period, scoreless after the first, Ren. What did you see out there in the first period?
Yeah, the Dogs with a lot of really good chances, a lot of one-on-O's, just some really great shots that didn't go in, unfortunately. We saw Ryan Bailey had one that went off the post. That was really good, but just keeping going and making sure that they can net one in the second. Yeah,
the Ice Dawgs came out flat on Friday. We talked about that in the pregame. I think both teams kind of came out flat in this matinee. A little Saturday, kind of a little sleepy after a late night start on Friday night. What do you think?
I'd say so. Isaac Hagen out there getting hung out to dry a few times. I'd say defensively that's where we're a little slow right now, or at least where the Ice Dawgs are. And then just like we were talking about, getting a goal in quick.
Delaware, not much to show in terms of possession. They started to pick it up towards the end of the period, but it was really all Ice Dawgs through most of the first. Again, nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. But one of the guys who will be looking to break the ice in the second period is Declan Conway. Our very own Will Hopkins caught up with him between periods.
Here with Ice Dawgs centerman Declan Conway, and your line has had a ton of sustained zone pressure in that Blue Hens end. How are you and your forward partners or forward teammates playing to keep the puck in their zone?
We're trying to use each other, keep it simple, and get the puck behind their D and attack and take advantage of what they're giving us.
And a ton of shots on goal. Gotti coming up big. What's it going to take to get that first one on the board for the Dogs?
Just going to make sure he feels our pressure. We got to stop in front of the net, find those loose pucks, and just keep getting pucks on net. What we're doing is working. We just got to keep at it.
Sounds good. Best of luck in the second period.
Thank you.
At Macon Coliseum, Will Hopkins and Joe Kopsho. A scoreless first period. The Dogs, I'd say, pretty unlucky to still be at 0-0.
Yeah, I would love to give you a list of all the goal scorers or possible goal scorers I thought we could have had, but that one list would be too long, and the list of actual goal scorers, of course, at 0. It was a period dominated by Ice Dawgs play. However, they couldn't find the back of the net. We'll see with a new, fresh 20 minutes if they can find more success.
Third line will get things started for the Dogs. That's McAvoy, Eberle, and Punzenberger. That first line that we've talked a bunch about for the Blue Hens. Kyle Kosh, Michael DePrisco, and Griffin O'Shaughnessy for the Blue Hens. Always got to be wary of them. Good stuff from Hagen in net. Good stuff from Gotti in net. We'll see if either team can break the ice and get on the scoreboard. No penalties in the first period. We'll see if either team heads to the box some point soon. But the Blue Hens starting in the Dogs' end, but the Ice Dawgs quickly regain possession and work it back past the red line and into the Blue Hen zone by way of Dylan Punzenberger. McAvoy looking out front for Eberle. Loose puck caught up in the skates of the defenseman. Now a battle out there. Comes free to the Dogs at the point, though. Firing a shot towards the net. Blocked away to that far side, but the Dogs keeping the pressure on with Punzenberger. Punzenberger looking for Eberle just past his stick. Strauss pinches in to get it back to Eberle. Good start here for the Dogs in period number 2. Didn't start the first period well in the first minute, but got things going quickly after. Eberle is all over the ice right now, especially in front of goal, looking to get a tip of some sort. Shot pass fired wide by Strauss. Once again, Dogs looking for Eberle out in front. Seems like they have a pretty clear objective. If you can't beat Gotti directly, try and get a deflection. Is a loose puck out in front. Eberle can't quite get to it, but Strauss now one-timer from Eberle. That goes wide. Strauss once again sends it in deep. The Dogs have been in the zone for about a minute at this point. Punzenberger, Eberle, and McAvoy, the three forwards for the Dogs, alongside Poole and Strauss, and the Blue Hens finally are able to get it out and dump it in deep and go for a change. But if you're the Dogs, if you can keep the top line of Delaware in their own zone while they're out there, that's a big W.
Especially with the long change, as they couldn't come off, couldn't make a short change.
Yep, long change in the second period. Benches in the offensive zone as opposed to the defensive zone, but Delaware does get a shot on Hagen. He's there to stop it, though, and now back the other way. It's Zach Solomon. Solomon chasing after it with Poole. Poole been out there the whole period so far alongside Strauss. Over a 2-minute shift for those defensemen. Looking for Solomon out front that time was Anatra. Anatra, Solomon, and Rafstanger, that second line. Rafstanger fires and scores. Beats Hagen over his shoulder, and as unlikely as it seems, Delaware's on the board first.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Ice Dogs. They were hemmed into the offensive zone, and as soon as they let up pressure, the Blue Hens able to convert. Not what you want to see, although this is the exact same situation they faced earlier. They were down early in the second, of course 1-0, and they were able to tack on many unanswered. So we'll see if they can dig deep again. I think the difference in this one, I see a lot of low shoulders, heads hanging down. It doesn't seem like the same mentality the Dogs had last night. I think it's because they feel like they played such an excellent period, all to just be down 2 minutes in the second.
And for the Dogs, having Poole and Strauss out there 2 minutes and 16 seconds, you're going to pay more on. They paid that. Puck leaves the zone, though, as Evan Moore pokes it out. Moore, Bailey, and Mazzaros out there for the Dogs. Burnett and Gannon, the defense pairing, as Solomon quick to the puck again. He's had a solid shift. Out there for that goal as Hagen protects the post. Solomon goes sprawling, no call. And now Bailey coming with it the other way. Bailey leaves it for Mazzaros. He got pulled into the zone, so Mazzaros had to wait for him to come back out, and that kind of stopped that whole rush for the Dogs, but the puck finds Gannon. Gannon out front for Bailey, and he answers immediately. What a response from the Dogs. Ice Dogs trailed for just about a minute, but Ryan Bailey evens things up off the assist from Jack Gannon.
Beautiful pass from Jack Gannon. He set it all up, and Bailey with the snipe picked his spot. An excellent shot, combined power and accuracy, and that brings us back to even 1-1. And of course, it's all about how you respond, and the Ice Dogs do so well. Now looking to get a little bit of a streak going and get multiple unanswered to put themselves in the driver's seat. What a great start. Pretty pass from Gannon and a beautiful finish from Bailey.
Bailey, Mazzaros, and Evan Moore, that top line for the Dogs, showing why as Mazzaros makes his presence felt behind the net. And now the Hens work it back the other way. That's 25, Alan Singer. Singer on that third line for the Hens, and now the first line for the Dogs coming back the other way. It's the goal scorer, Bailey, trying for some trickery. Slap shot from Mazzaros, he fanned on it. And now here come the Hens with Gibbons. He's stood up and hits the ice. Maybe a couple words for him as well from Bill Martin. Intensity really picking up here in the second period. Evan Moore with it. Goes all on his own. Looked like it took a deflection before the save was made by Gotti. Both goaltenders with just the one blemish. Bunch of good saves from both guys. Moore was trying to work around his defenseman. Couldn't quite do it, and now that puck is into the netting for stoppage.
A couple of toe drags from Moore there as he was looking for space around the defenseman. Instead, just found more bodies. It looks like Delaware knows that the creative skating of the Ice Dogs is something they like to turn to a lot. As a little commotion on the Delaware bench.
Maybe an equipment issue?
I think so. Someone went crashing into the wall. And
no, it's an injury issue.
Yeah, it was.
Alan Singer, he looks like he might be holding his shoulder area as the trainers head from the Georgia bench to the Delaware bench. We'll see if he's out there anytime soon or if they're going to have to play a man short. They only dressed 12 forwards. They only dressed 19 skaters of the allotted 20, going with 7 defensemen and 12 forwards. The Dogs with the more typical 7 defensemen, 13 forwards. So we'll see if that comes back to bite them. Might really have to switch up their lines.
Yeah, we'll see how it impacts him. It was crashing into the wall that looked like it was the injury. It was on the far side, on Gotti's glove side. We'll hope he's okay.
Truman Hagen looking out front, pass a little too hot to handle for Whitwer, but he gets back to it. Save by Gotti with that left pad. Eng keeps it in the zone. Hagen with a great move to get past the defender marking him as Whitwer takes a bump from behind from Harnan. Dogs captain Robbie Whitwer in a battle in that far corner alongside Truman Hagen. And Hagen comes out with it to Jake Green, but the Dogs lose out, and the Hens clear the zone. Shot fired off the stick of Leighton Poole and out of play.
And a couple more pauses here than we saw in the first period. It's been a little bit more whistly as these refs start to get their lungs working. As a lot of pucks going out of play. We saw a lot of clean, unfazed hockey, and now it's slowed down a little bit, and I think that's favored the offenses as they get to build up quite a bit more and get to work in the offensive zone.
DePrisco, O'Shaughnessy, and Kosh, McAvoy, Eberle, and Punzenberger for the Dogs. These were the lines that started this period, and the Dogs had the puck in the Hen zone almost the entire shift. Like we've said, DePrisco and O'Shaughnessy heavily relied upon for point output from the Blue Hens. If the Dogs can have them in their own zone defending during the course of their shifts, big advantage for the Ice Dawgs, the much deeper team, the much less top-heavy team offensively. Eberle battling over there with the defenseman Zeke DeChario. DeChario hits the ice. Now a big bump from McAvoy. Dogs upping the physicality a little bit here in this second frame. That one's flipped out of the zone, but right back to the Dogs and Leighton Poole. Eberle with it now has got McAvoy to his left, chooses to pass it to him, backhanded across the crease and gloved by Gotti.
Yeah, McAvoy just hoping a body would crash in and hope someone would knock the puck in, but instead it's frozen, and he was hoping the face-off would go to the other side, so he gets the benefit and the team gets the benefit, especially with Declan Conway gliding in.
And I think he was also asking the official for a high stick call. Not sure when that happened, but he had a gripe.
Chippiness has certainly started to pick up, and those sticks tend to drift a little bit higher when you get a little bit frustrated with your opponent.
100%. Poole and Strauss out there for the Dogs. You know they'll want to make up for that goal allowed. A great stressed pass, though, and it looked like just getting a piece of that was Hagen. Another great chance with the Hens getting in behind the Dogs. Banked off the boards to Strauss. And now up to Parente. He had a great first period, and now a chance out in front, deking around Hedquist, and it gets in. It's in. If you don't try it first, try again, and eventually that puck found the back of the net.
Great poke check from Gotti. He threw off Hedquist, but Hedquist just stayed with it, falling away from the puck, somehow able to stick his twig out there and make contact, and eventually it just chipped over Gotti for the second goal of the night for the Ice Dawgs.
Second goal of the weekend for James Hedquist. And that gives the Dogs the lead. They were down 1-0, and now 2 in a row gives them the lead. Hedquist scored 1 yesterday, his first of the season, coming off of injury, and now scoring 1 today, and he's back on the puck. Hedquist working around his defenseman, fires one. Blocker to side, may have been going wide regardless. But another good passage of play for the Dogs right after the goal, continuing to dictate the way things go. Conway looking for Poole, juicy rebound. Puck loose out in front. Where is it? The Dogs are saying it's in the back of the net. What's the call? They're going to say frozen puck.
And it was in the back of the net, and Gotti was able to kick it out before the ref, I think, saw it cross the whole line. It looked certainly like it was at least on the line, if not fully in. And then by the time Gotti was able to get his skate to it, he was able to force it out again. I'm not sure it was 100% in, but it was certainly on the line, if not in.
Dogs don't seem thrilled with the call. Some shaking of the head from Hedquist. Hedquist, Conway, and Parente. Talk to Conway at intermission about his line. I mean, they've just been fantastic. Unlucky not to have registered a point between that line in the first period. And they're continuing their good play from the first into the second here. Trying to fire it back in deep, Conway. Instead, blocked away, but now Conway regains it. Deking his way around the Blue Hens defense, taken down. The Dogs are asking for a penalty, not going to get it. Still no penalties from either side. Blue Hens take it back, looking for that stretch pass across. Can't quite connect, and now a chance for Evan Parente. He fires right into the glove of Andrew Gotti.
Gotti read him the whole way. What a performance there from him. Started going far side and read his shot, knew he was going to go high glove side and ripped it away. And Parente frustrated with himself that he missed that one, but also frustrated with the no call. It looked like he was clearly hooked or tripped, but ref's not seeing it the same way today, apparently.
Mazzaros out there, quick shot after the win from Evan Moore, saved by Gotti. He's been a busy man in that Delaware net. Dogs working to break out, a little bit mishandled by Mazzaros, but the Dogs keep things going. Bailey back to Gannon, he fires looking for the deflection from Mazzaros. Now Burnett with it, he fires looking for another deflection from Mazzaros, but instead it's gobbled up by Gotti.
Mazzaros doing work out in front. Excellent job to have his body out there. Gotti, I don't think even saw the first shot. That second one he's able to cover after a rebound was let up, but he's starting to show his flaws and show his cracks. Of course, he had an excellent save in the breakaway. But since then, and before then, he's had periods where he's certainly been beatable.
Face-off win by the Dogs. Gannon keeps the puck in the Delaware zone. Burnett asking for the puck at the point. Does a good job to pinch in and delay the breakout, but now here come the Hens. Back the other way, and gobbled up pretty easily by Isaac Hagen.
Easy to make sure that one doesn't go in, but harder to scoop that one up with your glove on the first attempt. I like that Hagen stressed not letting up a rebound. Excellent job to squeeze it with the glove and give his team a draw. Of course, the Dogs, I don't want to say tonight, in this early afternoon, have been excellent in the face-off dot.
Burchard versus Mazzaros, and Mazzaros wins it for the Ice Dogs. Banked around back to Bailey. Bailey delays looking for Gannon, and Gannon does eventually get to it and goes cross ice to Mazzaros. Mazzaros was trying to get it to Bailey, just beyond him though. Now Connor Brooks with it for the Hens. He takes a bump from Bailey, hits the ice, and now Gannon out front tried to make the pass, but couldn't quite connect with Evan Moore. And now the Hens go for a change. Dogs could catch them out if they go quickly. Stretch pass for Mazzaros. Took just a split second too long to get him the puck. The Hens had about nobody on the ice. Stays in the zone though for Gannon. Gannon for Bailey. Now back to the defenseman Gannon. Not afraid to get in offensively. Little give back to Bailey. Broken up well, though, by Colin Healy. Top line out there for the Hens. Dogs in the midst of a change, and now Gannon with a chance 1-on-0, but he kind of runs out of real estate going around the back of the net. A mess out in front, and the Hens come away with it.
Gannon's just got to shoot there at some point. Get the shot away.
Maybe trying to do a little bit too much, as DePrisco was coming in for the Blue Hens, as that blockered all the way out to the defensive zone of the Blue Hens by Hagen. Numbers here for Delaware. A bit of a screen, no call, as O'Shaughnessy was bearing down on net, and he's going to take a couple shots from the Dogs for poking at Hagen's glove.
Yeah, and I'm not sure anyone's going to want to go to battle with O'Shaughnessy. 6'5", 210. I think he'll have his way skating off. No one wants to get too worried about him. But he did get an extra poke in on Hagen, and we'll see how this game develops physically. It feels like we keep thinking we're going to have a breaking point with these teams and have something boil over, but they've stayed cool, have had level heads.
Whitwer leaves Solomon, gives him some space. He fires on net. First save made by Hagen. Bit of a juicy rebound, and Delaware keeps the puck in the zone. That's Anatra with the puck now. Fires across the ice. Great block made by the captain, Robbie Whitwer. Now the speedy Ing with it. Ing and Whitwer. Ing goes for the shot and fires just wide. Can really see his speed there, though. Jake Green missed out on that. And now Anatra back the other way for the Blue Hens. 2-1 Dogs. All three goals of this game coming in this second period. Raffstanger, the goal scorer for the Hens. And now Solomon with it. Solomon working on Hagen. Puck comes free to Raffstanger. Great play by Jake Green, though, coming back in defense to get the puck for his guys. Whitwer Ing and Jake Green. Whitwer tried to backhand it to Ing. Didn't quite work out. And now Delaware will go for a change. Dogs trying to catch Delaware on that change. Icing will be waved off as McAvoy got to that puck first. Good job by McAvoy to keep that whistle from being blown. And now Kosh with it. Kosh dancing around. Bit of a mixed up line. Don't believe we've seen Singer since that injury.
Yeah, he's still on the bench, hasn't left the ice, but looks a little dinged up.
So Delaware rocking with 11 forwards, and because of that, some mixed matched lines. Kosh on that first line without either of his typical line mates. Sends one to the right of Hagen. Now chance out in front, but good defense from the Dogs as the puck goes behind the net. Loose puck. Hagen's not going to love that. And now it leaves the zone. Matt Crowell with his defense partner. And now Gibbons with it. Gibbons working on Poole, and it's gobbled up by Hagen.
A little bit back and forth here since the second goal of Georgia as the Delaware Blue Hens try and find their footing again. Interesting to see that they've kind of abandoned the dump and chase, which they were so fond of earlier. When they can establish the zone time, they really like having their defensemen come around the goal, wrap fully around, and try and find passing lanes. That's when they feel most comfortable, when they can do that, and they've started doing it again after they've developed some offensive zone time.
Puck just barely stays in the zone that time. One-timer kick save made by Hagen. Now the Dogs look to break out the other way. Parente with it now. Now it's Conway. Conway looking to get it back to Parente. Instead it finds Hedquist. And now Parente with it and kind of had the puck stuck under his stick. So it's coming back the other way with Jack DiLiberto. DiLiberto out in front, swing and a miss from Delaware. That was 33 Alex Burchard. The Dogs catching a little bit of a break. Last few minutes, Delaware with some extended zone time, but they know that the Dogs can put the pressure on with the snap of a finger. 3-on-3, Parente on Scribner. Now Conway sends it back in deep to Parente. Hedquist with it behind the net, looking for some help from an onrushing teammate. Gannon keeping it in at the point. Dog goes down, that's Conway. Now Hedquist trying to win the battle with Scribner in the far corner. Dogs do win the battle as Parente comes to retrieve. Looking for Gannon. Puck just hops over his stick blade. Conway behind the net. Back to Parente, who's taking Gannon's spot on the point. All the way cross ice for Poole. Tried to send one towards the front of the net. Stays in the zone, though, for Gannon. Gannon over to Parente. Parente out to Hedquist, and that took a deflection right in front of Gotti, I believe, and maybe hit Gotti's glove as well, going over the crossbar. Extended zone time for sure, though, for the Dogs, looking to extend this lead to 2.
Almost feels like a power play.
It really does. Back door, amazing save by Gotti. Great pass from Parente, looking for the defenseman Poole. And Gotti was quick to that. Almost, it seemed like an empty net, but Gotti shifted side to side with amazing speed. Poole bearing down on goal, has that one blocked by Scribner. And like you said, it really feels like a power play. We've got to be over a minute, maybe even a minute and a half of the Dogs in the Hens zone. They're trying to clear it, and now they finally get it out of there with Burchard. The rest of his teammates will go for a much-needed change. We'll see if the Dogs can catch them out. They were looking to get it to Evan Moore. Evaded him. And now Bailey with it.
Yeah, that period of time for the Dogs, it wasn't just the fact that they had offensive zone control. It was that all the passing lanes seemed clear, a la when you only have 4 defenders on the ice.
Bailey with it now. He loses out. Now the Hens go back the other way with O'Shaughnessy. Looking for his partner, DePrisco. Couldn't quite connect, though. But the Dogs hit a bit of a roadblock trying to exit the zone. Tried to work it around back of the net, but that was intercepted, and the Blue Hens take advantage and even it up. A miscue in their own zone and made to pay. It's number 13 for the Blue Hens. That's Jack DiLiberto. And just like that, when it seemed like the Dogs were on the verge of extending their lead, instead they surrender one and we're all knotted up at 2.
Yeah, just a bad play from Evan Moore there, a horrible turnover. He should shoot that out of the zone, and he gets it right at the blue line. Instead, he tries to take it back and throw it around the boards. It's intercepted quite easily, and Hagen didn't have any chance in goal.
2-2 the score now. Dogs will be disappointed with that. Seemed like they were working harder to earn their goal than they made Delaware to earn theirs. 2-2. No goals in the first, 4 goals here in the second. Gannon tied up behind the net. Delaware comes back out with it. And a smart play from Burnett to just stick that aside and get it away from harm. Off the back of the cage now, as O'Shaughnessy has it, saved by Hagen. DePrisco back out in front. Great save from Hagen off of Kosh, and now Wildness out in front. And it looks like the Dogs cover up, but you could see the threat of Kosh, DePrisco, and O'Shaughnessy there on full display.
Yeah, dangerous play. Hagen made a great save to start it off, and then it was all about a bouncing puck and who would be able to cover it up first. Great job by the Dogs defenders to force it under Hagen as he was sprawled out, really had no idea where the puck was. Good job by them to come back and make sure he covered it.
Dogs just inches away from going behind there. Game they seem to have a lot of control over just a couple of minutes ago. Apparently not the case. Rafstanger wins the faceoff for Delaware. Back around for Solomon. Back to Rafstanger. Big hit from Hagen. Now shot from the point. Blockered away by the other Hagen. Isaac into the netting.
And this is one of those games where maybe if we had advanced statistics, you would see the expected goals be quite different than what we're seeing on the board. Right now it feels like the Dogs have thoroughly outplayed their opponents, but just a couple of mistakes, and if your opponent takes advantage of those, it can be an even score just like we have here today. It's about how you close out this end of the second, though. Try and bring it back towards your favor.
McAvoy trying to do that with Punzenberger to his right. Punzenberger has his shot saved by Gotti. Kept in the zone by Hagen, though, who sends it in deep for McAvoy. McAvoy working behind the net for Punzenberger. Punzenberger fires, save made by Gotti. Gotti really doing a great job in net for the Hens. Dogs could easily have a few more on the board, but just the 2. And with the number of shots they've had, I think Gotti will be more than happy with that. Eberle trying to break through the middle. Punzenberger with it now, looking cross ice for McAvoy. He couldn't quite bring that puck down out of midair. Eberle backhands it back in. Now shot out in front by McAvoy. Save made by Gotti. Hagen trying to put one towards the front of the net. He has that blocked away. Puck stays in play. Eberle trying to bring it towards the net. McAvoy slaps at it, and now Punzenberger with it. Hagen asks for it. Skate to stick. And a good job by the Dogs and Martin to keep it in the zone. McAvoy out in front. Couldn't quite get that one on target. McAvoy with it again, backhands one into a dangerous area. And another shift where the Dogs are really controlling play, but nothing to show for it on the scoreboard, and now a frozen puck.
Great job by Bill Martin there a couple times to hold the line and keep the offensive zone pressure on. The Dogs, a couple of opportunities, none that time too clean, but Gotti got one up in the face mask, it seemed, and anything can happen at that point. Again, it just seems like all the pressure is on the Delaware Blue Hens, and yet we're in a 2-2 game here where it could be anyone's as we enter the last 22 minutes of play.
And as you're watching this, if you want to support the Ice Dawgs, you want to get more exposure for your business, become a UGA Hockey broadcast sponsor. We have multiple packages upon multiple price points. Email UGAHockeyBroadcasting@gmail.com for more information. Dogs break it out after the defensive zone faceoff. That's Conway. Does that look to be punched down by Delaware? And now back the other way. As that's Gibbons and O'Shaughnessy out there. The Dogs regain the puck. 1.5 minutes to go in this second period. Will either team grab another goal before it's done? And the Dogs do. It's James Hedquist, his second of the game. And asking you shall receive. The Dogs retake the lead.
What a pretty pass to set up Hedquist.
The Dogs will be getting into that second intermission with the lead. We've seen both teams respond to goals really quickly, not what the Dogs want to see happen here.
And if you can really start to get in the driver's seat, a 1-goal lead isn't exactly what you want. Of course, you'd prefer 10, but it's something to build off of, and you can really use this momentum from having a lead into break and have it build more. Of course, the Dogs aren't going to get complacent and just let it sit there. They're going to keep the pedal to the metal.
They've seen how quickly Delaware can strike. Just a chance or two, and they could even it up. So they'll know they need more than just the one. Conway enters the zone, has Hedquist to his left, instead opts for the shot. Parente regains it though. Looking for Strauss, instead goes to Poole. Poole fires, either saved or block out in front. As we have 50 seconds to go now in period number 2. A 5-goal period after a no-goal first period. Quite odd to see. As Hedquist doing some defensive work, pushes the puck back out of the zone. And now Strauss and Poole trying to get things organized. Make sure not to make any mistakes back there behind Isaac Hagen. 25 seconds to go now. And Parente with it. We'll see if the Dogs have one last push in this period. Parente works around the defenseman, now works around the goal. Conway with it, tried to go short side and missed off the post. Dogs keep it in though with Strauss. He fires way up high and into the netting with 7.1 to go in the period.
I'm not sure that Gotti was the one that got that one with his blocker. I think that one was destined for top corner, and I think Gotti made an excellent save. What a shot, but a better save from Gotti. That would have continued to add to some highlight reel goals. Instead, he keeps Delaware just down 1.
And 3 goals given up by a goalie. Normally you wouldn't want that through 2 periods, but the number and quality of chances that Gotti's faced, I think 3 is a fantastic number for him in net.
He's definitely done his job.
He covers it, and I think that will be that for the second period. 2 goals for the Hens, but 3 goals for the Dogs, who lead it by a goal with 20 minutes to play. We'll take a break before our second intermission report in the third period thereafter.
Hello and welcome back to the UGA Hockey YouTube channel, where the Ice Dawgs currently lead the Delaware Blue Hens 3-2 after 2 periods. I'm Torrin Smith with Ren Grimsley. Ren, what did you see in that second period from these two teams?
Yeah, well, we saw some goals finally, which we did not see in the first period. 2 of them coming from Raffsanger and DePrisco for Delaware, and then Bailey and Hedquist again getting 3 for UGA. I think what really impressed me was UGA's ability to bounce back after letting up a goal, especially that first one. Seemed like Delaware had some momentum, but Bailey about a minute later netted one in, and then same thing happened later on when Delaware tied it up. Georgia took the lead soon thereafter. So just the ability to bounce back was really impressive to me.
Yeah, setting up for a good third period with a 1-goal game here. Our very own Will Hopkins caught up with Ice Dawgs goal scorer Ryan Bailey between periods.
Here with Ice Dawgs winger Ryan Bailey. And Ryan, a much different second period than we saw in the first period. No goals in the first, 5 in the second. What was the difference for you out there?
I mean, I guess we played harder. We got all our pucks in deep and just worked hard. Little rim job, sorry for everyone out there, but we're key on that, and that's been working, so we're going to keep doing that, and hopefully we pot like 5 more in.
I think everyone would love 5 more, and you got 1 yourself.
Yeah.
What'd you see on that goal?
I saw Gannon give me a free look at the front of the net, and then it was easy from there.
And then what are the keys for you in the third period to close this thing out?
Pass the puck to my center, Josh Mazzaros, and hopefully he scores 3 more as well.
Awesome. Sounds good. Third period at the Pyramid, Macon Coliseum. Dogs leading 3-2. An eventful second period. 5 goals, none in the first. We'll see what happens here in the third, but a tight game nonetheless, and the Dogs will have their work cut out to finish this thing off with a win.
Yeah, and it's been all Hedquist in that second line, made up of Declan Conway and Evan Parente surrounding him, and that's the line I'm looking to in this third period. I think while the Dogs have a 1-goal lead, they're not just going to sit on that. They're not going to play on their heels. They're not going to sit back. They're going to stay explosive, keep the offense out there, and I think that will all run through the second line, which, I mean, Will, you can say it better than anyone, has had a heck of a night.
The second line has been incredible, in all honesty. Hedquist, Conway, Parente, just wreaking havoc and spending a boatload of time in that Blue Hen zone. So we'll look for more of that. But to start, McAvoy, Eberle, and Punzenberger, along with the top line defensemen Leighton Poole and Alexander Strauss for the Dogs. As for the Blue Hens, still some skating around, but it looks like it might be that top line of Kosh, DePrisco, and O'Shaughnessy. No points, or at least no goals from that line so far. The goals coming from Raffsanger and DiLiberto, and kind of talked about that before the game. If you can limit that first line, you should be in good shape. Obviously not in the clear yet, only up by a goal, but are leading where it matters most as the last few Blue Hens make their way onto the ice and towards the bench.
And something important to notice is that forward Singer, who looked like he had some sort of shoulder injury after crashing into the boards, is not currently on the bench. So he is likely done for the day. And he's a big presence. He hasn't scored, no recorded points before these 2 games, but 6'4", 220 senior, certainly a leadership and physical presence. He will be out for the rest of the game.
And again, only dressing 19 skaters, 7 of them defensemen. So unless they're going to put a defenseman in the forward spot, they're going to have to mix and match lines throughout this third period. Dogs starting with the puck in the Hen zone. Wyatt McAvoy with it behind the net. He was looking for the centering pass to Punzenberger, wasn't quite there. And the Blue Hens will send it down the other way for Kosh to chase after it. Kosh gets there before Poole. Poole bumps into him, though. Now a battle on these near boards, and Eberle comes away with it. Looked like he took a slash to the arm, no call. 1 penalty last night, no penalties today. Some clean play or some loose whistling, however you want to see it, as McAvoy loses an edge. Now Delaware looks to break out a great pass to that far side in DePrisco. He's looking for O'Shaughnessy, but Alex Strauss does a great job to get in the way.
3-on-2 opportunity there for Delaware. Saw that a lot last night. They didn't convert a single chance on that rush, and there it was poor again.
Eberle grabs the puck, was looking for McAvoy, went just beyond him, and now another chance for a 3-on-2, but instead Delaware will go for a change.
Not sure that was by design. Looked like that pass just went a little bit too far.
Hagen asking for the icing. He's not going to get it. Gannon passing back and forth with Burnett. We saw the Dogs with some trouble passing behind the net in the second period, leading to one of the goals. Now the second line out there for the Dogs. They've been great all night long. Conway, Parente, and the 2-goal scorer, James Hedquist. Instead, though, Delaware coming back the other way as Hagen blocks off the net. That was Anatro who threw it on net. And now Zachary Solomon with it. Goes out to the point. And Harnan doesn't get through. Now Delaware trying to keep the puck in the zone. But Luke Burnett over there to try to take control of things. Off of Conway's skate. Now a free shot from up top and saved by Hagen. Dogs looking to go back with numbers. Parente with it. Looking for a teammate to pass to. Conway didn't get everything on that one and took a shot as he was shooting. And now Anatra back the other way. He takes a shot from Bill Martin. Things getting more and more physical as things go on as another Hen hits the ice. Looked like it was Zeke DiChario coming up from defense. Didn't see a ton of hits in the first. Definitely saw more in the second, and it looks like that's continuing here into the third. Skated to the stick impressively by Connor Brooks. Stuck up his skate behind him. He probably played soccer growing up based on that.
I was going to say ballerina, but soccer is probably
maybe both.
A better comparison.
Going for the scorpion kick as Ryan Bailey has his high stick waved off. Now Truman Hagen looking to help out his brother and goaltender. Evan Moore couldn't quite get it out of the zone for the Dogs, but now they clear their zone. 3-2 is the score. Just over 3 minutes played in the third period. Mazzaros going for the wrister, has it blocked away by Brooks. Dogs keep it in the zone though. Cross ice for Truman Hagen. He's got space and time. Goes back to his D partner in Martin. Martin trying to get it cross ice. That time for Moore, couldn't quite get it done. Now Delaware with it, but a great job staying with it by Mazzaros. Sends it out front for Moore, and he has it saved by Gotti.
Good glove save by Gotti there. Excellent job as he kicked out that glove, showed the leather, flashed it even, and kept Delaware in this one. That was a good opportunity, and it came from the forecheck yet again. A great job from that line to get pressure up in front and create offense.
Mazzaros wins the draw, and once again a glove save off the shot of Evan Moore, so we'll do it again.
And again, that's another good look that if a goalie was having a bit of a worse day, that's a 50-50 shot of going in. Instead, Gotti makes it look easy.
Looked like they were trying to get it to Evan Moore again, just evading him. But Moore's on the puck now. Gotti's had a fantastic game in net. Don't have the total number of shots for you, but the Dogs could easily have more than the 3 on the scoreboard they have right now. Mazzaros battling behind the net. Sends one Hen to the ground, but they come up with it with DiLiberto. Dogs content to flip it back out, stays in play. Mazzaros serving as a blockade as Bailey and the Dogs get things set back up. 4.5 gone, and a whistle now for offsides.
Yeah, just some miscommunication there between Mazzaros and Moore on who was receiving that pass, and that created the offsides as Mazzaros just skated past Moore. And that will create a defensive zone draw for the Dogs, and just want to mention again, they've been absolutely excellent on the face-off, haven't had to worry too much.
DePrisco out there facing off. He loses out to the Dogs. As Whitwer's on it now. Has Haley screaming down that left side. Nate Haley turns on the brakes. Now looks for some help, has his pass deflected away. And now the speedy Koss trying to go the other way, but the Dogs are there to break things up. Jake Green sends things in for Whitwer. Sticked away by Gotti. Dogs trying to add on to this 1-goal lead, give themselves a little bit more breathing room. They'll have a lot of chances they wish they would have converted if things start to go sideways. Don't want that to have to be something that they think about later here today. O'Shaughnessy on the puck. Trying to get it to DePrisco. It evades his stick, though, and now Luke Burnett finds Jack Gannon. Gannon up to Whitwer. But we're trying to deke around the defenseman in DeChario. Gets back to it, though. Great spinning pass out in front. Nobody could quite get a stick on it. And now it looks like the Blue Hens have numbers going the other way. Kosh with it, slowed up by Gannon, and Gannon really defended that 3-on-1, but you could also say Delaware didn't play that quite right. Still, they do enter the zone with DePrisco. DePrisco looking out front for Kosh. Broken up by McAvoy, and now Gannon on it. Decent chance, and Kosh is pretty upset with himself not taking advantage. Gannon up to McAvoy, has his shot kicked aside by Gotti. Now Punzenberger battling out in front, and the Hens come away with it. That's Sinatra with the puck now. He dumps it into the far corner to go chase after it, but Burnett's there first. Solomon on the puck, sends it back, and that one's fired high over the net. That was Raffstenger. He's already scored once. Some pressure here from the Blue Hens. Trying to get things even back up. A dangerous puck goes through the crease. Dogs need to clear the zone here.
Yeah, back door was open there. A good opportunity for the Blue Hens.
13 minutes to go. Dogs just a 1-goal lead, and Delaware really putting on the pressure. Another shot kicked aside by Hagen, and now the Dogs will look to clear the zone. A much needed clear the zone, although that goes off the back of the cage, and now a grade A chance from Raffstenger. Fired it right into the midsection of Hagen, though, and the Dogs catching a break. McAvoy the other way with it, trying to get it to Punzenberger. Not the best passage from the Dogs, and some chances that Delaware didn't take advantage of. Punzenberger out front for Conway, and now Hagen bounces one towards net. Another save for Gotti. Would love to demoralize Delaware after that good passage of play with a goal of their own. Instead, a couple of Dogs will go for a change, as this is really anyone's game right now. Dogs with the lead, and no offsides, as that was just kept in by Hedquist. Hedquist fired one out front for a chance from the defenseman, Bill Martin. Dogs looking to add on. Martin again has that one saved by Gotti. And now maybe numbers going the other way for Delaware. Dogs quick to get back, though. Things really starting to heat up here at Macon Coliseum.
I think sparks might have come off Gotti's mask after that shot from Bill Martin. Fired it hard into his face. That'll rattle a goalie for sure.
Declan Conway has Truman Hagen going out front, tried to get it to him, and scooped up by Gotti. Some chances from both sides, though, and could easily be 4-2 or 3-3 either way.
Yeah, sustained pressure from the Blue Hens. That creates great opportunities for them. But then the Dogs come right back, and it's a little bit different of a game. They get great offensive opportunities, but it's not from sustained pressure. It's just from hit and runs. They jump on you so quickly, are able to use their physicality and speed to create quick opportunities. A couple good ones there.
With that last little passage, though, you know the Dogs would like some more breathing room than just the one goal.
Absolutely. They do say the most dangerous lead is 2 goals in hockey. I would argue it's 1.
It's one of my least favorite sayings of all time, but we can get into that another time. 1 goal is as dangerous as it gets, as Parente crosses the blue line with speed, trying to make something happen, stays with the play, fires one out in front, never a bad idea, but nobody home. Poked away, though, almost came free for Conway. Couldn't quite get a stick on it. And now Parente back to it, and would expect him to send it back in. Instead, it falls to, not Hagen, that was Hedquist. Puck into the Delaware bench. Puck hasn't entered the Georgia bench once today, and it's entered the Delaware bench, 4 times?
I think it knows who the good guys are in the red and white, and prefers to take out a Blue Hen every once in a while, and that one was fired in by a Blue Hen, and of course the area it was, of course, is an offensive zone draw. It will be glove side of Gotti, an excellent spot for Mazzaros.
Mazzaros wins the draw. Now Strauss with it, sends it in deep for Mazzaros to chase after. He leaves it for Bailey. Bailey battling along the boards, gets it back to his defenseman Poole. Poole fires one on net, save made. Dogs keep possession though. Now another chance out in front, right in front of the net from Mazzaros, couldn't fire it home. Dogs are at the doorstep right now trying to break through for goal number 4. Another puck out in front, skate to stick from Bailey. Bailey skating around with it, still has the puck. Working at almost 360 degrees around this zone. Fires one, saved by Gotti once again. a brick wall in net. And another passage of play where the Dogs would have liked to change the scoreboard, but instead stuck at those 3 goals. Halfway through this third period, no goals for either side so far. Dogs on top by 1 score. Here comes Mazzaros again, though. Leaves it for Evan Moore. Evan Moore to Ryan Bailey. Back to Mazzaros. Kick save and a beauty by Andrew Gotti. Beautiful combination play by this Dogs top line. Could not quite find the back of the net. Did everything but.
And in the handshake line after this game, Gotti's going to get a couple extra taps on the back. After that excellent save, he's had a couple of them. That looks like a goal that was destined to be instead ripped out of the Dogs' hand.
And it would have been a beautiful goal.
Highlight reel for sure. That would have been on the next Tuesday drop for the Ice Dawgs Instagram, instead taken away.
Dogs breaking it back out with Bailey as he goes for a change. Gannon will enter the zone. Mazzaros and Moore alongside him. It's a mixed match line right now. Whitwer filling in defense as Gannon went in on that rush. Luke Burnett sends it back around. No dog home, though. Good hit from Whitwer. Dangerous puck out in front, though, looking for Kosh. We know how dangerous this first line can be for Delaware. No goals yet, but that's almost concerning like they're due. Hopefully the Dogs can keep them off the board all night long. Kosh, DePrisco, and O'Shaughnessy. 10 goals for DePrisco this year, 5 goals and 9 assists for O'Shaughnessy. Looking to keep those numbers right where they are. Bit of a stumble from Whitwer. And now the Dogs trying to calm things down. Not a bad idea with the 1-goal lead. 8.5 minutes to go in this third period. Dogs looking for a sweep of these Blue Hens after a 5-2 win late last night. Here comes the speedy Ing. Leaves it for Jake Green, and another great save by Gotti. What's it going to take to beat this guy again?
Didn't think he could get much better, but he's ramped it up another level. He's been excellent to start this third.
Off the wall to Gannon. Shot pass. Can't get Green's stick on it. Whitwer trying to keep things going and does a great job of that. Jake Green with it now as Ing goes towards the net. Loses out to DePrisco, though. And now it looks like the Blue Hens will be able to clear their lines with Connor Brooks, who fires one long just beyond O'Shaughnessy. And now Burnett will slow things down and ring it around for Gannon. 7:45 to go. Dogs clinging to a 1-goal lead, but at the same time, Delaware clinging to having that deficit at just 1 goal because there have been some grade A chances for the Dogs. Icing's waved off as a couple Blue Hens kind of got out of the way of that puck. Now they work things back out. A couple of deke moves passed from UGA defenders, but Truman Hagen puts an end to that move. And now Ryan Anatra on it. Shot from the point, didn't quite get through. Into that far corner, and now Solomon with some space. Closed down by Green eventually, and Hagen comes to help. Dangerous bouncing puck out in front, sticked away by Hagen. Any small chance here could tie this up. And now a whistle, I believe, for a hand pass.
Ooh, I thought we were going to get our first power play here, our first penalty. Instead, simply a hand pass that will come out of the defensive zone for Georgia, as they'll be able to try and get this draw and get the offense working yet again. 7 minutes remaining in the third. And it kind of feels like the first, where there's a lot of opportunities, but no one can break through.
100%.
The second, maybe just a bit of an outlier, as 5 goals scored there. Besides that, the other 27 minutes, absolutely nothing.
It might be stressful, but I think the Dogs would take a no-goal third period.
Absolutely.
As Hedquist is in on the forecheck, Dogs trying to make it difficult for Delaware to leave their zone. Trying to fire it back in deep. Hit a couple Dogs, though. Did it off the stick of Martin, and now Delaware comes back the other way with it. Raffstanger, who's already scored today. Can't quite get through, though, and now comes Conway. Conway, Parente, and Hedquist. That second line for the Dogs playing fantastic puck all day long. See if they can get another one to their names. Instead, back the other way comes Anatra and the Hens as he's blocked off it. Great job by Truman Hagen. And as Isaac covers up, I think he'll give his brother a big thank you.
Yeah, great use of the body there to make sure there's no play on the puck. Excellent job to cover as the other Hagen sees the Blue Hens crashing. Good defensive, solid play all around. as these teams will get line changes and get some fresh legs on the ice to try and close this game out. We might see shorter shifts as we get late into this one, Will. 6 minutes remain. We'll see how long players start to stay on the ice, as you want fresh legs when you get deep in the game.
If you're the Dogs, you don't want to get caught out there too long. We saw that happen on the first goal with Poole and Strauss out there for over 2 minutes, so definitely don't want that to be the case here, especially with your defensemen. First line out there for the Dogs as Evan Moore fires high, stays in play though, off the glass. Martin and Hogg in the defense pairing as that one dribbles out of the zone and the Dogs will have to regroup. 5:50 to go, 3-2 Dogs looking for some insurance. Andrew Gotti's been pesky to keep that insurance from being procured by the Dogs. A tough man to beat as that one looks like it's gonna be on net. No icing, was going in pretty slow anyway, so the official had waved it off. Hagen looking for the stretch pass to Bailey. Gets a little bit of a stick on it. Can't quite control it though. Martin gloves it down and now Mazzaros with it. Mazzaros over to Evan Moore. His shot rings around behind the net. In on the forecheck is Moore, but the Hens do clear the zone, not with enough control to do much with it though. Ryan Bailey gives it to Truman Hagen. Hagen to Martin. They've been out there a solid while, and right on cue they go for a change. Good deke move to send Mazzaros to the boards, but a puck out in front. Point blank chance from Evan Moore. Another big save from Andrew Gotti. And now Delaware with some numbers going the other way. Luckily the puck goes awry and Strauss able to deal with it. Another chance by the wayside for the Dogs. You wonder if they'll be made to pay.
And you can see in the forecheck that Dogs are staying back a little bit more, trying to get fresh legs on in these changes when they have this puck in the offensive zone.
Evan Moore goes for a change there, right as you said it. Bailey from that first line still out there. It's Eberle and Ing alongside him. Some switched up lines right now. Dangerous puck out in front, and now a slap shot off the stick of Scribner, didn't get through. Dogs hemmed in a little bit here. Scribner, another chance. That one patted aside by Hagen. Scribner not afraid to get into the attack as a defenseman, but now his defense skills will be tested as Bailey fires in for Ing, the speedster, to skate after. Ing trying to make things difficult for the Blue Hens, and they haven't quite left the zone yet. Now they do, as it's flipped into the stick of Alex Strauss. Eberle, Ing, and Punzenberger. This is a line that we haven't seen all game. Three guys from different lines working together. Or excuse me, Eberle and Punzenberger usually together, but Ing in place of McAvoy. See if it works for the Dogs. Spent a good bit of time in their own zone over the last minute or so. Puck goes right to Eberle though. He saucers it, can't quite get it out. Bit of a mistake, but a big hit from Punzenberger cleans things up for the Dogs. And not sure what the referee was pointing at, something there. No penalty. Maybe a messy change for the Dogs, but everything's all right now. As O'Shaughnessy coming in with it. He fires one towards the front of the net as Kosh was crashing in. And now here comes the 2-goal scorer, James Hedquist. Does he look for the hat trick or look for the pass? He's looking for the hat trick. Another big save by Andrew Gotti to protect that near post.
And we saw a shot exactly like that last night squeak in as it got past Schornstein. This time Gotti up to the task. Not a bad decision, as it was, I believe, Evan Moore last night taking the tight angle shot. Here Hedquist tries it himself. Doesn't get this one through, as I believe the discussion here is about icing. I think Gotti wanted an icing call, and instead it allowed the Bulldogs to get that full line off and get Ing on. Or excuse me, get Ing off and get the full line on.
And with 2:40 to go now for head coach Joe Garrett, got to start thinking extended zone pressure. Might see it somewhat soon, especially in a game where, other than that second period, goals have been so hard to come by.
And that's why that icing is so huge, because the icing allows you to pull your goalie almost immediately. Instead, Delaware doesn't get one there, and that's likely the complaint.
Rafstinger with it. Gotti stays in net for now as Rafstinger dekes past a few defensemen. Can't quite get that backhanded shot off, though, as Burnett came up big in the last moment. Now Conway pokes it out, and He's got a good chance here with Parente crashing towards the middle of the net. Deeks past one with the toe drag. Doesn't get everything on that shot, but some important zone time for the Dogs just to kill the clock and decrease the chances of Delaware being able to pull Gotti and get something going in their offensive zone. 2 minutes to go now. Conway fires one towards the front of the net. May have glanced off the back of the net. Glove down by Gannon and ability to kill some more time. Dogs almost treating it like a PK. Obviously can't ice it, but just trying to burn these seconds. 1:43 to go. Dogs up by just the goal. Solomon forward to Anatra, trying to get it back to Solomon, but instead it's to Burnett, who gives it to Gannon, and he'll wisely circle back and kill some more precious seconds as Delaware's going to have to start to get more aggressive with their pressure.
And for these teams, it's their best two lines out on the ice. I expect them to be out there these last 80 seconds.
Conway with the puck now. Deeks past one, tries to go high near side. Instead fires it over the bar and off the glass. Loose puck. Hedquist with it now as he tries to fire one out in front. Nobody home, though. And here come the Hens the other way. O'Shaughnessy gets it from DePrisco. O'Shaughnessy fires. Glove saved by Hagen with 58 seconds to go.
And that will be it likely for Gotti's night with that freeze. It will be a face-off on the blocker side of Hagen. And it will likely be a timeout, and there it comes as these two teams will want to discuss, of course, the Dogs defensively, and the Hens will want to draw up some face-off play.
And always a topic of conversation, what is your thoughts on when you're before the red line trying to score on that empty net to end the game, risking the icing?
I think this Dogs team knows that they're fast enough skaters that any of their great opportunities to score the open net are going to be clear. If something isn't clear, they're not going to take it. They'll throw it down the ice. They'll be complacent and try and just burn this one out. They've done an excellent job, of course, in this third period. They've played 19 minutes of perfect defensive hockey. There's no reason to go be risky, try and get out in front, lose a man when you're already down a man, of course, playing 6-5, have a man take off and try and score an empty netter.
58 seconds to go. We'll see if the Dogs can take advantage of that empty netter or if they'll just have to work down these precious seconds.
If anything here, after so many face-off wins for Mazzaros today, I think he'll try and get a quick win, and someone might fire it down.
Grafstanger joins that top line for Delaware as the fourth forward with the 6 skaters. Puck does leave the zone as it got past that time Scribner, and now Delaware sends it back in deep. Dogs trying to get it out of the zone once again, but a good keep at the point by Delaware. And now Ryan Bailey with it does get it out of the zone, but the Dogs can't quite control it. Great battle along this boards, though, as the Dogs try to kill some precious seconds with Mazzaros. O'Shaughnessy with it now, 30 seconds to go. Dogs clinging to the 1-goal lead. Puck run around for Scribner, and now taken away by Bailey. Bailey has a chance at the empty net. He fires, he scores! Ryan Bailey seals the deal with 21 seconds to go. It's 4-2 Dogs, and we can breathe a sigh of relief.
And as mentioned, that was going to be the only opportunity an empty netter would be taken when you're all alone, and that's what Ryan Bailey was. All alone left in the offensive zone. He fires it. He won't miss that. And the Dogs will double up Delaware in this one with 21 seconds left.
And Bailey maybe getting a little jealous of James Hedquist. He already had 2 goals. Bailey said, I need me some of that. So he's got 2 goals as well. Something about the guys we choose to interview. It just makes them goal-scoring machines, huh?
Yeah, these forwards have played excellently today, and maybe you got a little magic with you, Will.
Maybe. 4-2, the Dogs lead at 20 seconds to go as Gotti's back in the net as Delaware throws in the towel, you could say. Mazzaros clears the zone. No icing as the seconds tick down. 5 seconds to go as Healy content to just keep the puck behind the net. And the horn will sound. 4-2, the Dogs take it. They take both games of this Friday-Saturday series. 5-2 yesterday, 4-2, a tougher game today, but they'll take 2 wins nonetheless.
Yeah, an excellent job by both these teams, but of course the Ice Dawgs coming out on top. It was Rylan Bailey and Hedquist on offense. They provided everything the Dogs would need. And give credit to Hagen. His goals against average was 3. He's brought it down a little bit today with an awesome performance in net. And of course on the other side, if we have to tip the cap to someone, it has to be Gotti. An excellent job, just 3 goals allowed after what I would estimate around 60 shots. So an excellent performance from him all around. But the Dogs perform a little bit better 2 days in a row, and they, of course, remain undefeated.
They remain undefeated. Hagen remains undefeated as a Georgia goaltender. And like you said, got to give props to Gotti. We'll see if he's one of the stars of the game. We'll give our 3 stars after a break and have our final post-game report for you. 4-2, Dogs take it. Here with Ice Dawgs.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of UGA Ice Dawgs Hockey, where the Dogs take a victory over the Delaware Blue Hens 4-2 and sweep the weekend over Delaware on this nice Saturday matinee game. Ren, who would you say are our 3 stars of the game tonight?
Yeah, starting out at number 3, got to give it to the Delaware goalie, Andrew Gotti. Had an amazing performance, got left out to dry several times, kept this game a lot closer than maybe it could have or should have been. At number 2, got to give it to Ryan Bailey with 2 goals on the game. Just absolutely dynamic performance from him. He's flying all over the ice and a lot of great possession work for him. And at number 1, got to give it to James Hedquist coming off that injury. He got 2 goals today, which turned out to be huge and the goals that were needed to win this game.
Yeah, and that puts him up to 3 goals on the season in 2 games, so already well on pace for a point per game, and great start to his season already. Speaking of James Hedquist, our very own Will Hopkins caught up with him post-game.
Back here with James Hedquist, and we talked to you before the game. You had a goal yesterday, keeping it up. You kept it up in a big way. 2 goals today. What's gotten into your play over the last couple of days?
Really just trying to work as hard as I can, get my legs back, coming back from an injury. And, yeah, it's honestly my line mates. They set me up for about 40 chances. I should have had 6 goals this game, but only 2. It was all them, really. I just got lucky enough to finish a couple of them. But,
yeah. And we'll take the 2. I mean, your line was outstanding all 3 periods, and his team was outstanding. It was a tough game, a game where goals were hard to come by even with the 4. But taking a 5-2 win yesterday, a 4-2 win today, Saturday means you got all of Sunday off. How good does it feel to have this weekend sweep?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's good to come down here and get 2 wins. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All righty, well, congrats on the win.
Thank you very much.
That'll do it here for us on the UGA Hockey YouTube channel as the Ice Dogs improve to 9-0-2 on the season with a 2-game sweep over the Delaware Blue Hens. We'll be back for the next one and see if the Ice Dogs can keep this winning streak alive. For Will and Joe, I'm Torin. This is Ren. We'll see you next time.